Oh, there you are. Thanks again for joining us on the SketchUp every Thursdays here live on the EXP. We have got a round of talented creatives that are joining us tonight. Ryan Bess is here. He's joining us here for the very first time. We have Fred Schwartz here as well. And Stephen Yu returns with Seth Singleton. All those guys are going to be right here. And then Mog will be working on a special piece tonight, a Savage Gwen. And we'll give you an idea what that's going to look like in a little bit after this commercial break. Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks again for joining us. Look at who we have here. We've got Ryan Bess. He's been traveling with us from some of the cons this year. We also have Fred Schwartz and Stephen Yu is here as well. We've seen him at a couple of shows this year. And he has Seth Singleton, who's here also for the very first time. Glad to have you guys. And we'll be reviewing the campaigns that these guys have going on or what they have coming up. But let's figure out like what's going on with the live art auction, just so that way we can get you guys kicked up on that right here. Ryan is you're working on Absolute Batman?
I am, yeah.
Yeah. Anything that you can show right now or that you got going on?
It's a little light. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it or not.
Okay, yeah, I see a little bit of it.
Oh, that's dope. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's nice. Cool. Okay. And starting bid on that is $125, guys. All right. So if you want to place a bid on that, go ahead and do so in the comments. Thanks, Stevie B is in the house. Good to have you here, Stevie. I think you're going to like what you see here tonight. And then we also, from Fred, we have one of his original characters called Boom, right? And starting bid on this is $25. Okay, $25. All right, really, he's making it really easy for you to have a piece of work. Fred has been here before and has sold a piece of art as well. So we're happy to support him and everybody else that's here. We also have Stephen and Seth. Now, you guys are not doing anything for the live art auction, right?
No, but
okay.
Can we go off our comics?
They're here to promote their comics, and that's fine. And okay, just reading some of the comments here. Thank you very much for that. Anyway, so if you want to place a bid on any of that, you can go ahead and do so in the comments. Now, let's show you what Mog is doing for this. See if you can see that. Trying to figure out which way to go here.
There you go. Oh, cool. That's really cool. That is very cool. That's rad.
Okay, now here's the thing. That's not what you're going to be bidding on. That's actually a piece that we're submitting somewhere else. But it's going to be very similar to that. It is a Savage Gwen on an Ultimate Spider-Man sketch cover. Okay, what I just showed you was actually a she-dragon from Eric Larson's. What's it called again? God, I'm losing it here. Eric Larson's Dragon. How could I'm over here thinking what the dragon, the red dragon. All right, so let's see where are we at. We got Stephen here, and he's working on his third Joan issue, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, go ahead and tell us about that.
Yeah, so in an alternate 1430s medieval Europe, King Henry and his legion of evil sorcerers have taken over Europe with something called One Thought. And there's no heroes left to turn to on Earth. So Joan is resurrected from the dead. She's given immortality and infinite ammo to dismantle the monarchy. So if you're a fan of like 80s, 90s Hong Kong martial arts movies, Sergio Leone Westerns, and like heavy metal magazine from that era, then you'll like Joan. And here's a look at the couple of books that we've done.
There's volume 1
and volume 2. And then there's the cover for the third book.
That's going to be the cover for volume 3, as well as for anyone who's got their smartphone handy and just wants to scan the QR code for the Kickstarter for volume 3. But that's the beautiful cover for it. It's going to look gorgeous on the final version.
Okay, let's bring up that Kickstarter that you guys got going on. Let's take a look at what you have here. All right, you've got, you got 46 backers, 21 days ago. You still got time.
Yeah, we launched on Wednesday, and we got over 50% in 7 days. So it's not bad for the first week. Yeah, thanks to Seth's help too.
Stephen, you did all the art, right?
Yeah. So the first 2 books I wrote and drew it. With this third book, I wrote, drew it, but this time I got Seth to help out with some co-writing too. And then future books, Seth will help out with the writing, so I can put more focus on the art.
Mm-hmm. And how closely does this follow Joan?
So it follows the parts that people know best. The historical mission that she went on, the tragic ending that most people believe occurred. Right. And in this anachronistic timeline, she's been brought back to life. So that part starts to delineate. There are other elements that still hold true. Like it's still set in a time that is very recognizable as 1430s Europe. But there are elements that are included, and the source behind them is part of a larger narrative that only gets explored as we get deeper into Joan's discovery. When Joan comes back, she's just back for revenge. She has unlimited lives and access to modern day weapons thanks to magic and divine intervention, if not endowment, and the gifts that go with it. And because of that, she believes that she has a mission to finish what she started, as well as get revenge for the suffering and betrayal of her and those who followed her. But then she realizes she's also stepping into something much bigger. And she came back for one reason, but the reason she's going to push forward is going to change drastically.
Right, because you're gonna, like, I'm already wondering, like, you've got this divine intervention, right? What is what is that purpose of the divine intervention? Sure, you're going to satisfy Joan's goal of wanting revenge, which to me, from a higher being, is kind of pitiful in a way. But so, what is it in the grand scheme of things that is going to progress through this and push this story going forward?
You know, originally when I wrote the story, I had like a larger idea behind it, which was like, you know, inviting God and Satan and the Antichrist. But I don't know. When I was younger, when I was in college, I was studying a lot of existential philosophy, and you know, I always liked the type of comics and manga I read. Always were like really big with philosophy, and so I decided to take God, Satan, all the more spiritual stuff out, and focus more on Joan's quest, or like more human quest. So it became more of an existentialist hero. When she returns, this time there really isn't a lot of God coming in there and telling her what to do. This time around, she has to figure it out. So outside of the religiosity of Joan of Arc, like, I like to think of it as a loose interpretation of the Joan of Arc character. And really what it is, ultimately, Joan is about the artist. I mean, it's controversial to talk about it, but I feel like there's a lot of artists who are told, okay, go this certain direction because of, I don't know why, like popular trends. This is how you survive. This is how you do things. And a lot of those things didn't really apply to me. I just didn't feel like I belong in that mindset. And I would notice that there were a lot of people who would take that as a threat. Like, well, what do you mean? I mean, case in point, being a freelancer was kind of like a threat to some of the family members that that I talked to. And they're like, well, what are you going to do for money? I'm like, well, I'm freelancing. And it just became one of those things where like, oh, well, the way I want to live may not be the same as how other people want to live, and some people aren't comfortable with that. And so when I was younger, I was told, hey, go chase after this. This is trending. This is popular. Go this direction. And I even went to LA, did some work there, but I just realized this is not for me. I'm just meant to like tell my own stories and do the stuff that I feel like I want to do. And I also, that's the microcosm. The macrocosm, the greater story, is really about a villain who wants people to follow a certain doctrine. He is set on setting the narrative, what life is about. And Joan is the antagonist to that. Joan is fighting against that. Okay. So the whole idea of telling people what to do and how they should live their lives, who they can and can't be, she fights against that, and I fight against that too. So that's ultimately what it's about.
I get it, because it's kind of in a way, it's kind of like propaganda. You're trying to get these people to live a certain way, the way that you believe it should be lived, right?
Yeah.
But really, which is very poetic in a way, because of what's happening currently in the world today. People trying to live off the grid. They're creating these independent communities where they can survive on their own. They're providing their own resources and everything. And there's that breakaway from this doctrine that we call society, and it's very similar to that. So it's a very interesting how you're kind of like pulling this, maybe probably unbeknownst to you, pulling this into your story as well. So it's very interesting about that.
And
but,
it's go ahead. Sorry.
After this story arc, do you have any more plans for Joan?
I mean, I want to get through all 6 books because that's really important right now. It's just this whole
so it's a 6-issue story arc.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first 2 books were set up to show her frustration. Like, it looks like the revenge should be easy, but wait until you see the villains. There's nothing worse than self-righteousness. I think self-righteousness is really, really hard to defeat. And so she's up against self-righteousness and highly powered, sorcerers, and King Henry himself, right, wields like Excalibur, a corrupted version of it.
Wow,
and
okay.
Right. So the second book kind of ends on this like frustrating note for her. And then the third book, not a plot spoiler, but she loses all her powers. And now she has to really figure out like where to go next. And as it turns out, revenge may not be really what she was here for. Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, you're great. Actually, that was really valuable, because I think the personal story that Steve included is so significant when you read through the books. It's something that I think many artists would recognize. It's something I brought up to him when we were talking about the books after I read volumes 1 and 2. But also, I love what he's pointing out, because earlier you said, I think it's kind of pathetic that a god's going to raise someone up and tell him what to do and inflict this kind of violence or something similar. But when you look at the actual message she receives, it's quite vague. It says rise, and that's about it. Now, what you choose to do after you rise is very different. Joan goes in one direction. King Henry, if he were to rise in that situation, would clearly go in a much different direction as well. Yeah. So what we do with it when an opportunity is granted like that, when you get a second chance, when someone says, hi, you thought this was lost, but here, now you get a chance to pursue it again. It could be easy to say, okay, time to pick up where I left off. Well, okay, but where did that get you? Really? Because if that's how you ended up where you were, well, you're just going to repeat the process.
Exactly.
But if you're willing to pay attention, right, get past, work through your frustration and your anger, and then do something about what you learned from that experience. Now you have an opportunity to do something more, be something bigger, and figure out if the message you heard was rise and go do things, or rise, look around, pay attention, see who you can help and what you can do, not what you think you're supposed to do, right? And then we end up with a really interesting conflict between 2 characters, torn between what they are supposed to do, believe they're supposed to do, to bring it about.
Right, because are they in the same timeline still, or did you guys bring them back in a different timeline?
No, so a lot of people are like trying to wrap their heads around. They're like, wait, how does like the guns work? In the beginning, when I was pitching it, there were people going like, wait, but guns don't exist in medieval France. I go, I know. And they go, why? So how do guns exist? And I go, okay, well, let's explain this. So first off, it's anachronistic. It's alternative, 1430s. And think about if people ever seen Samurai Champloo or Afro Samurai. Afro Samurai is probably a better example where characters are walking around with cell phones. And it's just this like blend. And I can go into that forever, but basically I the template for Joan is this cultural blend of Eastern style stories mixed with the Western style. So it's all kind of just this duck press of things I've been influenced by. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is Joan's powers. Another way to look at it is maybe in their timeline, they see her shooting fire out of her hands because she's labeled as a witch. But through the modern lens, they're guns to us.
Okay.
That's what they, yeah.
Okay.
The great thing I love about it is that when you do any reading about the Middle Ages, about this sort of period of time in which the great empire that had been sort of stomping all over the world, which was Rome, had fallen. And in that fall, there was this uncertainty and the possibility that things could hold power, relics and other things could suddenly fill that void. And that is some of the material we get to work with, because there's how people were thinking at that time, how they perceive things, and also how it is that they're going to say, oh, let me tell you about what happened when Joan came to town. And I'm sure it's going to be very different than the story Joan or someone riding alongside or who witnessed it from a different angle, right? Also, the understanding of modern day equipment, mechanics, and other things like that. But I think also Steve is teasing the fact that there's a reason why these things are here. There's a deeper explanation, but right now, the characters that we're introducing, they're just trying to survive. Once they start working through the process of surviving, that's when they start going, hey, why is all of this happening? It doesn't seem like it used to be here. Something changed. What changed? And in that lies a mystery that takes us through all 6 books.
All right. And it's very interesting because when you do look at history, that's kind of like what has happened. Right? Man was just trying to survive. You gather his bare necessities just to be able to live. Right. And now you look at us today, right? Yeah. We're not just surviving, we're thriving and a whole lot more in doing all kinds like of other shit that nobody would have ever thought of doing before.
So it's interesting how you're saying how then is like this, and then now it's very similar to that then, right? So each book is also has a little bit of satire too. Whereas like, you look at the second book, a lot of it is about the self-righteousness of the villains. And I noticed today there's a lot of that going on. The villain in the story is frightening because he has a lot of belief on his side. And he has this oppressive regime called One Thought. And it's just, in short, it's a very Orwellian nightmare where if you don't think like the king, he has the right to execute you. And it's become like the new religion, right? And so I was just thinking about what that world is like. And then I was like, oh, I don't have to really think about that world is like. We kind of live in times like that, Yeah. So sometimes I look at it from the point of view of peasants from, Middle Ages. And I'm like, they're, merchants, there's artists, there's all these people like us, right? But the frightening thing is that when you get the wrong person in charge, who knows what they're capable of doing? It's like absolute power, And that's politics, right? But for me, it's more like the cultural part of it, the sociological side. It's like being told what you can and can't do. That's actually really, really frightening. And so, yeah, those are things that I touch upon in Joan.
Also, just to add, it's a timeless story. There will always be the rise of champions, and there will always be forces that oppose them. There will be forces that rise to oppress, and there will be champions who rise to stand against them. And that's a story that Joan tells, and it's also a story that I think we are seeing in our present. We're looking for heroes. We're looking for leaders. We're looking for champions.
Yeah, the hero's journey.
Yeah, exactly.
Those have been the greatest stories of all time, and they still are today, right? And we still enjoy them even now, and that's what we look for. It gives us that wherever we're at, it gives us that feeling of hope, right? Even and that's what it was for me reading comics growing up, right? As this nerdy kid, low bottom in my whole freaking class, right? Someday I'm gonna rise up above this oppression and I'm gonna do something great. I'll be a superhero kind of message that I was getting. I had no clue how I was gonna do that. But, there was
easier to rebel.
There was that escapism that I went into that made me believe that. And if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would have accomplished the things that I have in my lifetime. So I am happy for that. And I think Joan has always been a very interesting story to read. I remember coming across that story back in high school myself and being intrigued by it. So I think you guys are onto something good here. And I hope that everybody else catches on to this and supports them, supports you guys on that. And you can see the link in the comments here. You can get onto that Kickstarter, and I hope you guys do it and give these guys support. So now, Steve, there's something else I saw on your thing, Space Cowboys.
Oh, Cowboy manga?
Yeah. What is that about?
That's our partnership. So when Steve brought me into the fold, we started looking at where Joan will go over the next remaining books. We're now about to have book 3, and then there will be 4, 5, and 6. But then what we started also talking about was that this isn't the only idea that gets cooked up in the process of our conversations. We ended up putting together a 8-page short.
Yeah. 8-page short.
8-page short, maybe a month or two ago. The concept, something Steve had been working with, and showed it to me, and I got a chance to add some layers of texture with the writing and bring in a different piece to it. And then it's like, well, this isn't Joan. This is something different. This is something between the two of us, and it's also something that represents, we feel, the sort of reference manual that we both use when it came to getting to know each other. I grew up loving many of the same stories that Steve did. I enjoyed the way they sort of shaped my thinking, and how when we would talk about ideas, whether it was about volume 3, about the remaining arcs, we could use those examples. I mean, I can tell you right now, this guy an hour and a half ago at dinner was glowing about, oh goodness, no way, Transformers the movie. Telling the story, the others who were at the table were not as enraptured as I was, because I remember how powerful that movie felt. But just the scale that he was talking about, this was a war movie, a cartoon Transformers war movie, and I was like, yeah, man, yeah, like it really was. So the fact that we can remember those things, that we can talk about the feeling of what it was like, watching early, Macross City, or what became known as Robotech, early days of things like G-Force and others, but also the martial arts movies that we grew up watching in the 80s and 90s. So there was this mishmash of things that we could reference. And it was funny because he's coming from one place, coming to the United States, from Taiwan as a young child, growing up here. me being born here, but being drawn to it from a different direction and feeling this pull and us meeting in the middle and kind of going, okay. So, well, that is kind of, there's an East and West mashup. There's a combination of these things. There's the cowboy and the Western, and then there's the manga, which also seems to represent so many of the themes that run through Joan and also seem to fit with the stories that we wanted to tell beyond Joan. And it became this idea that also Steve kind of grounded it for me really well. We were having a conversation with some friends, and it was about this group of artists that he'd met over in France, I believe. And they had chose to identify themselves with Memphis. And it was very strange at the time because what's the connection? Now, I hadn't heard this story until this conversation, and I freak out and jump in because I'm like, oh man, Memphis. So you got to know that if you watch any Aaron Sorkin, there's this newsroom show we did. And in one of the final episodes, there's a talk about this classic single, How I Got to Memphis. And in it, the characters are talking, and an older character says to a younger character, what does someone as young as you know about Memphis? And he looks at the older character, he goes, Memphis isn't a place. It's a state of mind. Mm-hmm. The character is talking about how they ended up where they are. And how they got to Memphis is a fill-in for how I got here. And most of those stories are how I fell in love, how I chased something I loved. And that's how I ended up here. And Steve and I are both chasing the things we love. And we ended up at this place, and we decided to call it Cowboy Manga to represent this idea, this state of mind that we feel reflects the art and the ideas we're telling.
Okay, so you guys have a lot of common interests growing up with the same kind of things, and it's pretty much the same era that I grew up in as well. And so, just a couple questions for you, Seth. Yeah, it's more out of curiosity than anything else. Sure. Are you a martial artist?
I am not. I did enjoy studying boxing, and I enjoyed pursuing martial arts, and I enjoyed studying it, but I never took it to the degree that I know others have gone to, and I would never try and.
There are different degrees of being a martial artist. So overall, in general, you are a martial artist. So
I enjoy competition. I enjoy combat sports. The time that I stepped in the ring the most to do any sort of registered combat, I did some tough hand competitions. I did 5 fights in San Joaquin Valley. And that was the highest level I competed at. I enjoyed doing some kickboxing spars here and there. I learned a little bit of martial arts from some others, but that was the only one. Boxing was the one where I knew I tested myself. So I only held myself to any sort of measurement because that's the one where I stepped in somewhere and really took on the challenge. I never did that with martial arts in the same way. So maybe that's why I have a bit of hesitance.
Yeah, all right. So it's kind of like you're a non-practicing martial artist, but still a martial artist in a way.
Sure.
I still spar on Fridays sometimes, and sometimes my friend throws in kicks, and suddenly we just end up moving from a boxing competition into something a little bit more fun. But I'm also not staying there going, yes, I am a martial artist. Who dares to stand before? There is no requirement on my part to.
I go around saying that. He said, "Yeah, I was a martial artist. I don't practice it. I haven't practiced it in a while. The last time I tried to do a spinning heel kick, and I freaking hurt my back." So.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got 4 knee surgeries, 1 knee replacement. You know, there's certain things I'm just not trying to do, and I'm fully aware of my limitations.
Yeah, sure, I can do a straightforward kick, but that's about as far as I want to go.
I'm fine with that. I could throw a teep or 2, and then after that, no, sorry, my knees hurt, my ankles are shot. You know, arches have fallen.
So, my next question to you is Asian food in general. Where does that stand? Is that like your preferred food of cuisine, or in a category of like 1, 2, or 3? Where does that stand?
Oh, it's such a comfort food, especially when it's something that I know. Like actually tonight we stopped and got Thai, and I was in heaven when I was able to get some pineapple fried rice, and I was like, "Do you have duck?" And they said, "Yeah," and I was like, "Oh, it's gonna get hot. Like this is such a good night for me, right?" Like, yeah, it was amazing. Also, there are a few things as satisfying as a truly delicious and fresh banh mi. Like there's just pure joy in my heart. And then also, my wife is Filipina, and there's a special place in my heart for tocino, dinuguan, and of course staples like chicken and pork adobo. I know how to make chicken adobo. My mother-in-law signed off on my pork adobo cooking.
Oh, sweet!
So I can get down, and yeah, man, it's become such a.
We can definitely hang.
Oh, we can hang, we can eat. Let's get a table, guys. Fred, Ryan, let's all just go. I'm down.
I went to a new Thai restaurant yesterday that I haven't tried. Okay, and it was very unusual because these guys. First of all, the food was good. It's authentic Thai food, and I ordered this fish, this spicy fish, right? And it tasted like how I tasted it almost 20 years ago. That was cooked by a friend of mine that was Thai, and I go, wow. This is really good. But what made the place unusual too, compared to everybody else, is that they did, they filled your Thai iced tea as many times as you wanted.
Oh, wow.
Which is unheard of these days. Now, a lot of Thai restaurants did that in the beginning, in the 80s and early 90s. And then it just kind of petered off where they didn't do that anymore. So it's very comforting. Bad for me. Because I ended up having 3 because they're so refreshing good and they just go down so easily. It was so good. I went back there again today. Okay, just so that I could try. We tried several dishes yesterday, but I wanted to try their pad Thai. Didn't get it yesterday because we had ordered a pad see, which is another noodle dish. So I wanted to try their pad Thai. Went in there, got a quick load of what do you call it? Take out of that. Had that, and it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. So, but that's okay. There's a bunch of other Thai restaurants that are close by that do a good Thai, but their fish was excellent. So I'll go back for that. One of my specialties is adobo, so I make that quite often. Being Filipino, and Mog is Korean, she does a lot of Korean dishes, so we get a lot of that. I just wish that she would do the washing of dishes when she cooks, because there's like so many banchans and plates she got to wash when she cooks, and so many pots and pans that she uses to make all that stuff. But yeah, okay, so that's cool. Next question that I have for you guys: how did you guys meet? And how often? Because I don't remember. Were you? I've hung with Steven quite a bit at a few cons now. But I'm sorry if you were at these gatherings, but I just don't remember you. Right? Were you at any of those that I was at, or?
Yeah. Was it? No, actually, no.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. So Steve and I have been talking for a while, but as far as bringing me on in any official capacity, that took a little bit. Relationships take trust. And if you want to bring on a creative person to something that's already going, you have to know what you're getting into. I mean, it's like dating, it's as simple as that. It's like getting to know any person. And it took a little bit. And the great thing was that we had these things that we could reference to talk about. But then it came down to a little bit of finer points about where we landed on certain things. How did you feel about characters when they did this? What did you think about the experience for you as a viewer, or for a reader, or for something else like that? And seeing where we meshed, but also where we didn't, and where that was valuable. And also where it is that we saw differences that we found, hey, this is something we're going to keep talking about because we have different ideas about this, and this is going to take some learning and understanding. So during some of those conversations, we started talking about, hey, how can we start building together? And I think the first time that we actually worked together at a table was sort of impromptu. We had done a free comic book day at King Kong Comics. And then he had an offer to go back up to his hometown in Reno at Dreamwell Comics. Big shout out to our buddies there. And when we got there, the weather was not great. So to set up a table outside in the wind and such was not a good idea. They asked if we could share a table in the back corner. And as we did, I decided to take it upon myself to say, hey, Steve, let me try pitching your book to some folks when they come by and let me see what you think. And when I did, he went, not bad. That was, I'm going to steal some of that. Right. And then from there, started a few more conversations about, well, okay, what else did you like about it and why? And what do you think about this idea for book 3? And those conversations built. And then at some point, he trusted me enough to bring me along full time and start having me at events and that. But I also know that there was like a breaking point where I got a phone call, and it was after many conversations. He was like, hey, man, I think I need to hire you on. I think I need to bring you on to help me like build this thing. And I'm thinking about writing too. And from that point, I really saw like, okay, I'm being trusted with something valuable at a very critical point. I mean, there's 3 books left. We need to get this 3rd one done in the right way. And then we have the rest to finish together. That's a lot of trust. And also it's a commitment to 3 more volumes. I was grateful. I was honored. And I said, okay, this is what we need to do. And he's got an amazing work ethic. And I tapped right into that. And we've just been chugging away since.
Okay. Do you feel any pressure?
No, to be honest. You know, what I love is that I actually, on the first time I did a rewrite for a page on volume 3 after he'd written the first draft, that was probably something where I was like, okay, we're going to find out if all of this talk has been real or not, right? Because once you read through it, you're going to decide if you like it, and if you don't, what? And also, while we talk about those things, how's that conversation going to go? It ended up working really well. There were a few things that he had questions about that I answered. There were a few things that we came to different terms about, like I suggested, and he's like, yeah, we can do it a different way, or no, let's stick with this. So we came to a compromise, and then we saw, okay, this is a template for how we build the remaining pages. Yeah. So as far as pressure, I mostly feel the sense that once that first page was done and we got that conversation out of the way, no, there's no pressure. I know exactly what I want to do with the remaining pages, how I want to do it, and we'll fine tune it, because nothing will ever be perfect, spot on. There's always going to be a, hey, what do you think about? And I'm even going to bring those into the conversation when I think it's valuable, because I want him to know I made a choice, but I also thought about this other choice. How do you feel about it? Here's our option. And I think knowing that and also demonstrating that, yeah, I feel really comfortable. I also feel confident. Plus, this is a story that it's so rich. I mean, after reading volumes 1 and 2 and working on volumes 3, I've been throwing ideas at him left and right for 4, 5, and 6 about, like, I love what you're doing, but how about this? And how about this? Or here's an idea. Hey, did you think about this? So really, he just has to every once in a while put the brakes on me, and we're fine. Then it's easy.
Because there's trust. It is a big thing, right? Especially when it belongs to someone and they're pretty much the god of that creation. It's their baby, and they want to know that it's going to be cared for the way how they're caring for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right that it does come down to that. And even with our regular work, we have the same kind of thing, that you've got to find somebody that you can work with, and it's tough. And we're lucky to be working in the books that we have, and that we can do more than one issue, several issues actually, because that's, I think, is a whole lot better than just doing like one here and there every so often. Now, do you guys have plans at being at a show together?
Yeah, actually, tomorrow we will be starting day 1 of 3 days of RageCon, which is a big gaming convention here in Reno. From what I understand, it runs for 7 or 8 hours each day, if not longer. Wow. Yeah, so we're definitely going to be getting in our stretching, and some of us will be standing and sitting, and others will be switching off. Yeah. But we're going to be there, and we will be talking Joan, the Kickstarter, and Steve's brilliant art the entire time. And we would love it if you're in the area in Reno and you want to come by. If you're looking for the reason, make us the reason. We will live up to your expectations. We're happy to take on that.
Now that's a good marketing pitch.
I'm not saying he brought me on for all these reasons, but it's a reason. Yeah.
I see. I see why Steve got you.
Yeah. Hey.
Actually, you know what? Seth was at Oakland Comic Con. That's right. And
It was?
yeah. So unfortunately, like we got separated
For that dinner that we had together.
Yeah.
Seth wasn't with us at that time?
Seth was. Yeah, he was
Oh,
at
he
the
was.
We were at separate tables.
Yeah, we just had
didn't
separate
realize.
tables. Yeah, okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. That's why.
Yeah.
All right. So that's how I missed you. All right.
Yeah.
Hopefully we catch you. We were able to catch you at the next one. Yeah.
Man.
He'll
I
also
can't-
be Baltimore too. So
Oh, okay.
I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be in for Baltimore. I'm pulling double duty. I also currently work with the Green Party campaign out of Maryland for Andy Ellis, who's running for governor. So I'll be in town as the campaign down there starts to ramp up. It seemed like a great way to tackle two projects.
Is that your home state?
What's that?
Is that your home state, Maryland?
No, actually, my good friend who I've known since 2010, Owen Andrews, he's running for lieutenant governor. And when he called me on the phone and said, "Hey, man, I'm running for lieutenant governor. This is your West Wing moment. How you feel like, getting into politics?" And I was like, "Well, let me look at your platform. Oh, hey, look, you guys are fighting for all kinds of things I believe in. Let's get down." So,
okay.
yeah,
that's cool. That's cool.
You can probably use your pitches as well.
he has enjoyed them. That's true. Yeah, there have been some moments I've been able to chip in fun ways with the writing and other parts. So it's really been a great. What I love is that when people ask what I'm doing, I happen to be working on two projects where I believe I'm fighting for the right things, and that's not a bad place to be.
Okay, great. All right. Well, hopefully we'll be able to do that, and we'll get to know you guys better. And along with that, you'll probably be able to meet this guy, Ryan Best, who's been with us at many of the shows as well, just as recently as Heroes and Denver last month, I believe. All right. So Ryan, you're here to represent your campaign. Book that you've been working on since the beginning, correct? That's a Rise, correct?
Yeah.
So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I didn't write it. I'm just the artist for it. The writer's Trevor Fernandes-Lenkiewicz. And Rise is a story about a superhero. And we're kind of inverting the superhero tale, where instead of diving into all the superhero stuff of it all, we're taking a look at the man behind all that. And the basic gist is that his powers scale with the levels of dopamine in his blood. So in order for him to use his powers, he has to feel good in order to do good. And that really brings into question, are the things that make you feel good necessarily always good moral things, And so we look at the pitfalls of modern masculinity and the pressure you put on yourself trying to live up to this superhuman ideal.
Okay. And what issues are you guys on right now?
So 1 through 4 are already out. The Kickstarter we just launched is for issue 5, and it's going to be a 6-issue arc.
Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at that Kickstarter. If you can bring that up, and you'll see that in the comments as well. And let's see, you guys got, okay, you're also above the 50% mark. You got, okay, you just pretty much just started you still got 28 days left.
Yeah.
And 127 backers. Okay, so those numbers look like they're off to a good start. There is the link for that. And you did all the artwork on here. Do you have other artists that you guys have brought on?
So for issue 1, we had a different colorist. The issue 2 and onward, I've been doing pencils, inks, colors, and 2 covers per book.
Do you do a lot of variant covers or none at all?
We usually get 2. Well, so there's usually 3 variants. I do one of the variants that's usually a wraparound cover, and then we'll get 2 other artists to do B and a C cover.
Wow. Okay. And that cover right there, that looks pretty cool. Is that your artwork right there?
Yeah, that one's mine.
That's cool.
Did you do the coloring on that?
I did, yeah.
Wow. Okay. And which character is that on the cover?
It's the main character, Rise. His
Okay.
name is John. Yeah.
Are there other
Um,
superheroes in this story, or he's the only one?
No, that's the thing is we really wanted to avoid um, making it too much about like a superhero world and more
Mhm.
about him. So he's the only superhero in the book, and he's navigating all the pressures and temptations that come along with his life.
Okay, yeah, that right there. Is that your pencils and ink?
That is, yeah. And that one's inked traditionally on two 11x17 boards.
Yeah. That looks really. That looks good. Are you professionally trained?
I mean, I went to school for illustration, and then after I graduated from college, I interned under an artist for DC for a couple months, and he kind of showed me how to do inks and page layouts and stuff like that.
And who was this with?
Andy Smith.
Oh, okay. Ilya says hello to Stevie B. Good to see Rook Pieces in the house. And let's before we continue, let's go ahead and review what we have in the live art auction. Let's starting with let's go to you, Ryan. Let's see what you
You see that?
man is. Looks like you you laid down a lot already.
Yeah.
That's actually looking really good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we're still looking for an opening bid on that for 125. What size is that?
It's 11x14.
Okay.
Do you
Actually-
like to, Ryan? Do you like to work large pieces, like large? I mean, it's like
Yeah.
your default size, 11x14.
11x14 is usually my default size for commissions. I do like working larger if I'm doing traditional stuff, because for penciling interiors and doing covers and stuff, that's all digital. So I can make it as like big or small as I want. But I got so used to just being able to blow it up pretty big on the computer that now I like working larger traditionally.
How about you, Steven? What size do you work with, or are you all digital?
No, I mix it up. I mean, the covers, I do the 11x17. What's it called? The boards.
Yeah.
And then
Colors and all that.
yeah, for the interiors, I do it digitally because I don't know, it's just like faster to work. But I treat my digitals like I do them traditionally. So
Okay. So Ryan, are there other stories that you guys are cooking up besides Rise, or is that the only one that you guys have right now?
Yeah, so we're also working on a horror book called Heavy. We have one issue of that out right now, and we're kind of going back and forth because we're going to be finishing up Rise within the next like year or so, and after that, we're going to focus more on the horror book. So yeah,
Are you wrapping up Rise this year, or is it next year?
I think the idea is to get it done because we're probably about a third of the way through Rise 5 now. And so that should give us enough time to at least have it like, I don't know if we're going to do the Kickstarter for 6 this year, but it should be pretty much done by the end of the year, I would think.
Okay. For number 6, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. If not, probably like early first quarter of next year. That should be easily.
Yeah.
Now, are you guys making more appearances at cons to? Because you and Trevor usually travel together.
Yeah,
pushing-
so we're actually going to be at San Diego Comic-Con in the small press area in a couple weeks.
Anything after that?
I'm not sure what his schedule is. I know we're also going to be at I think it's IC3 in Rhode Island in September, and then I'm pretty sure we're going to be at New York Comic-Con. We haven't heard anything about tables or anything yet.
Yeah,
But we'll be there, just kind of like walking around.
Right. Yeah, most of us are still waiting for New York Comic Con. If you're trying to get into Artist Alley, and if you're not a guest, yeah, we're all still waiting. But I think we're going to be here. We'll hear from them real soon.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think he might be doing some more cons than I am. After San Diego, I kind of have a bit of a break.
Yeah, he usually goes around doing the European ones, like in London and France.
Yeah, I did that with him last year.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was cool. It was really neat. We got to do signings in Paris. We did 2 signings in Paris. We did a signing in Glasgow, which was really cool. I had never been to Scotland, so that was like really neat to check out and see. And it was really neat just walking around Glasgow and then seeing a giant poster of us doing a signing at a store. That was pretty cool.
Wow.
Paris was awesome. It was just like we were on the road for a month there. Like we got there, I think mid-October and stayed through mid-November. So it was almost a month of just like hostels, hotels, and going around Europe, just slinging comics, So by the end of it, I was ready to get home. I was pretty exhausted, but it was definitely a really cool opportunity.
Get a lot of drinking done?
Oh yeah. Kind of have to when you go to Scotland,
What was the best place for you to go to over there?
Oh man, I don't even know. This is the thing is like when you go to so many places in such a short amount of time, it all just kind of like blends together. I really enjoyed Edinburgh. It was just like it was such a peaceful, cool place. It felt like you were stepping back in time and seeing like all these just like old castles and old buildings, and everything's just like it didn't seem real. That was a really cool place to go. And then I always love Paris. Paris is really fun.
Okay, nice. Hopefully one of these days we'll be Mog and I will get over to Europe. We haven't. That's one continent that we have not been to yet either, even though we've got several relatives over there. Hopefully one day we'll see what happens on there. So, and then that brings us to Fred, who has been in here, and we'll be talking about fisticuffs.
Yes, we will.
So give us the updated scoops on that.
Sure. So, for those of you that don't know, fisticuffs is the story of a functional drunk whose comfortable life derails when a one-night stand has deadly consequences. It is the sense of humor of The Boys meets the explosive action of Invincible, and the kind of personal storytelling that you would get in like a Martin Scorsese movie, in that it deals with addiction, dysfunction, and a lot of deeply personal subject matter, but done in a kind of crazy, over-the-top, and absurdist kind of way. So we have currently right now book 4. We finished the Kickstarter campaign. We're accepting late pledges. So please take a look. We are.
And here's that Kickstarter.
Yes.
That you guys just finished.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep. And
good there.
Yeah. So the book is written by me. It's a 7-issue miniseries altogether. We have issues 1 through 4 available in the campaign. We're going to try to get 5 up in late September, early October at the latest. It is drawn by Stan Yak, who you guys were talking about, just amazing collaborators before. I got incredibly lucky when I found him and when we synced up so well. The dude is same. I mean, I still don't know if he likes this or not, but I always describe him as kind of like a naughty Jim Lee, right? He's got like really nice kind of clean forms and stuff, and he does the big action stuff really well. Like people like are shaped like action figures, but he does kind of like a messy kind of punk rock aesthetic to it that again, like almost like if Jim Lee acted up a little bit and went a little bit out of the lines. But it's really cool, and it suits our story really well, and that it gives this kind of grungy, almost like independent 70s cinema, almost, Tarantino-y kind of feel to it. So he's been great. We have Robert Nugent and Timothy Brown, who did the colors on the books. They just add, a nice grainy grittiness, but really lush tones that, I always say looks like a Dario Argento movie. Came out really great. And then Dave Sharp, brings it all together. He's a veteran. He does a phenomenal job on the letters and just makes it into like a full sensory experience. So, we have book 4 now, and book 4 is by far the most absurd issue. It's the most superhero we do, in that he fights a giant blooming onion. which was like, a guy that gets transformed into, it's what it sounds like. He gets transformed, he gets merged with a blooming onion and becomes this supervillain called the Blossom. And in it, our hero is forced with a difficult decision because, he's aware that there's danger and innocent lives at risk. But as he puts out in the story, he is on the middle of a really bad diarrhea bowel movement and he doesn't know what to do. Does he try to save the day or does he risk shitting his pants? Does he compromise? Somewhere in between? But it's that kind of story, right? It's a real human take on a person that, shouldn't have powers and doesn't want them, but what does he do with them when he doesn't really have a choice? So,
and comes across these unusual predicaments.
Yeah, exactly.
Very, very funny there. Who did you say the colorist is again?
Timothy C. Brown is doing the pages that we're looking at right now. Robert Nugent did the first 2 books, but because of scheduling things and the way that things work out, he had to leave.
All right. That's why it looks like it has a fresh feel to it. I do like the coloring. It's it's a little more appealing to the eyes for me.
Thank you.
Not as saturated, not too dark. So I can see things come out for me a little more clearly. So I do like that. So that was issue 4, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right. And that just finished. So if you guys want to go in there and they can do a pledge, is it still?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
And we have the whole series available too, so they can catch up and get on board, or they can just test drive 1 and 2 if they want and see. I recommend 1 and 2 together because 1 ends, they pair well together. One ends on a you don't want to not finish. You don't want to wait for the next campaign to get to. Trust me, you want 1 and 2 at least.
Well, it looks like it's like a fun read.
Thank you.
Dealing with the kind of things that you got to deal with human wise. So I think that's another worthwhile series that everybody will come to support. Steve VB writes, I fought one at Outback because those blooming onions never taste the same reheated. Man, yeah.
Well, I spent years working in a franchise restaurant, not Outback, but we used to see many of those. In fact, was one guy, my buddy to this day still jokes about this one coworker that horrified him, who used to eat an entire blooming onion for lunch like almost every day. And I don't know how you can do that. I couldn't eat a quarter of one of those by myself, a couple pieces, delicious, love it. But those things are not meant for human consumption.
When Outback first came and they came out into our area and I went there and I ordered their Melbourne because it has the name Mel in it. And it was an aged T-bone steak, right? Those things were big, really big then. And with the blooming onions, I ate the whole thing. I could eat the whole thing, all that. And plus, I don't know what else I was ordering. I always had to have a salad, so I know I had a salad back then too. But yeah, I would finish all that with a beer or something. Mm-hmm. But I was going there like once a week, right? Every Saturday after I'd finish. We were doing this weekly show called Frankenstein. So my crew and I, and there would be like half a dozen to a dozen of us, we'd go out and eat. And at that time we kept going to Outback, and I kept ordering the same thing. I didn't want to change it. It was so good. So we did that for a while. I don't know how long, but yeah. They're slowly kind of like getting phased out here, but they're still around in some places. They're not in Hawaii. When they went out of Hawaii, a lot of Hawaii friends had they still had Outback gift cards and whatnot. So I told them, you can't use them. Send them to me. You can't use them anymore. Send them to me. I can use them. What good is it going to do you?
Man, that's great.
I was able to get a lot of blooming onions then.
Yes. Well, I'm working on one myself right now. I'm doing my own version of it. So
no, we are looking for a bid on that for actually no, we actually have a bid on that already.
Shut up. Hey, I'm a paid artist twice now.
Early on, within the first I believe it was within the first 15 minutes, Steve B came on and he placed a bid on it.
Oh, man.
saying that's the only thing he can afford today after buying some other famous artist's page that he went to and got picked up earlier.
Oh
Okay,
shit! Mine's going to be in the same company as a famous artist. I love that. That's amazing.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Okay,
Thank
and
you.
then
Much
not only
appreciated.
that, okay, we did see Ryan's Absolute Batman, which we're still looking for a bit of 125, and then here's what Mog is going to be putting up. Okay, I'm not going to show what she's actually working on, but this is what it can look like, or what it's working to. Okay, this is the Savage She-Dragon. This is actually going to be submitted to Baltimore for their Eric Larson tribute.
I need to get on.
Not supposed to show that yet,
No.
so I'm kind of like breaking the rules. Shame on me. I actually posted this earlier this week, and then I went back to read the email, and it said not to post it, so I had to take everything back down.
I did see it online. I realized I wasn't supposed to say anything later.
Hey, Mel, do you know? Are we allowed to? Is it digital or traditional only?
Traditional,
Traditional. Okay.
yeah,
I need to get on.
because they want it to be traditional. You can, I believe it's traditional anyway, but they want it to be. You can keep the artwork and everything. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And decide to sell it like on your own if you want to, or submit it to their auction, and you decide how you want that money to come to you. Either you keep it 100%, split it 50-50 with the con, or so much goes to a charity, you keep the rest. They've got some pretty good options on how you want to do that. We're gonna just keep it ourselves and try to sell it ourselves off the table. I think it's a good piece that we can display out there, because that con for us is more of an original art. At least for us, that's what it tended to be. So that's the area that we're gonna work on.
Okay.
And use an air fryer, Stevie. Okay. Oh yeah, for the blooming onions. All right. All right. All right. So that's what we got going on now. Mog is actually working on a Savage Gwen on an Ultimate Spider-Man. And the sketch cover was donated by Rook Piece. I saw him earlier on the message board. And that's why we have this starting at $450. But she's going to go all out on this. She's going to put a background as well, similar to what you saw on the Savage She-Dragon piece. All right, so if you want to place a bid on that, it is at $450. If not, we'll see this at the cons. All right, and at this point, we're going to take a short break, and we will be right back, so don't go away. And if you haven't yet, hit that follow button, as I tell you guys every weekend, so that way you can stay tuned to all the comings and goings of the EXP and what we have coming up on SketchUp. All right, so don't go away. We'll be right back after this break.
Twitch, it's not just what happens when you have too many energy drinks anymore. Check out our content over there, too.
Nobody else is in here.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Remember, if you head over to theexplive.com, you can pick up our EXP exclusive Ben 10 #1 with art from artist Jay Foggett. We have all 4 covers still available of that, but they are selling close to selling out. Then we have Ben 10 #2, our ultraviolet cover by Eric Canetti, and now available as of last night. Ben 10 #3, again, ultraviolet by Eric Canetti. Our #3s will ship together with #4. So if you order it now, we will ship you #4 for free with #3. But I can't show you the art for #3 and or for #4 and our forthcoming #5 as well. Until those are closer to coming out. Other thing I want to remind you of, tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern, order up the FOC show. We will have Stepan Sejic, the creator, artist, writer of Death Vigil, which is coming out from Image Comics, So make sure you tune into that show for myself and Matthias Lewis from Nowhere Games and Comics tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Cool. So Ben 10, theexplive.com. Go check those out. And tune into Death Vigil. Order up on Death Vigil with Step and Cedric tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Then, tomorrow evening, Nick is doing Christmas in July on the original art show. I don't have that art to show you, but he is doing that. And then Nancy will have her regular show as well. So make sure you follow the EXP on social media and do all of those things so that you know what's coming up and what's going on. And, you know, when we have a cool exclusive. So I don't have to bust into these shows all the time and tell you about them. Cool? Thanks. Did you know that Arthur, King of the Britons, and Monty Python and the Holy Grail was played by a famous Graham? Check out another famous Graham by following our Instagram.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks again for joining us on SketchUp. We have got several art pieces up for auction, so we'll go around the room and take a quick look at what everybody's got. Starting with Ryan, we are looking for a bid of 125 on this 11 by 14 absolute Batman.
Wow.
The hottest character right now in the industry. There is nothing hotter than that. I dare you to tell me otherwise. Okay, and next up we have the Blossom.
I mean, it should be the hottest character in comics if we live in a world. But
He's definitely hot for a different reason. Okay, and that has a current bid of 25, so we are looking for the next bid of $30 on that. If you want to bid on that, go ahead and place that into the comments. Don't forget to fill out the magic form so that way you know exactly where this will go. And then last, we'll take a look at what Mog has on this Savage Voyant. All right, she's still working the blue line there. Kind of gives you an idea where that's going. Okay, it's not going to get done today, but if you want to take the chance and place that bid, you can do so now in the comments. Start that up. All right, so that's what we have going on. And we have Fred Schwartz here. He's, I already said that. We have Stephen Yu and Seth Singleton also with us tonight. And we've been talking campaigns. So let me ask you guys, in running your Kickstarters, what is the biggest thing that you have to deal with? Let's start with Ryan.
Well, I don't really run much of the Kickstarter. That's mostly Trevor's. But I do.
But you guys talk, so he must tell you, like, God dang it, Kickstarter. I really hate how they do this.
Yeah, I feel like he has so much more knowledge about Kickstarter than I do. I do know our little tidbit. We were talking about the two different books earlier. Is that fans don't always genre jump? We had a little bit of a falling off from a horror book from the people who were like really big fans of our superhero book. So that was like an interesting thing that we weren't really like ready for. We just kind of figured like, hey, these people are fans of ours. They'll follow us over to like the next thing we're doing. And it's really like, no, people are fans of like certain genres and stuff like that and don't always take that leap over.
So how do you, or have you guys decided how you're going to pivot on that? Are you going to do that or?
I mean, just spitballing, we were talking about maybe doing like horror conventions instead of just comic book conventions to try to like reach that different audience, Yeah,
because like Stephen and Seth, you guys are doing this Rage convention, right? Does that tie into your books?
So there's just kind of what Ryan was talking about is like, I notice if I go to some more of the, I mean, all comic book conventions are pop culture conventions, but conventions that tend to lean more towards, I guess, just pop culture, I do okay at. But there's been kind of weird shows, and I say weird in the best way. Like I did a Reno Punk Fleet, and my books did really well there. And RageCon did, my books did well there too. So I don't know. I'm trying to get a good like reading of the pulse. I think a lot about when Alan C. Martin and Jamie Hewlett did Tank Girl, and it wasn't through a traditional comic book publisher, it's through Deadline Magazine in the 90s. And I looked at their, not that I'm trying to emulate it, but it's kind of a good beacon of like just what I'm trying to do with my books. And I realized if the mainstream culture isn't wanting of it, then there's also like other paths to pursue too. And you kind of have to in today's landscape. So a lot of the Kickstarter stuff that I've been doing, like reaching out to people or people who have backed Joan from like Reno Punk Flea, RageCon, and other of these like smaller events that I've gone to. I want to do San Diego. Justin Orr, we know Justin Orr. He, he's like my big brother. He's like, why aren't you doing it? You should be doing it. I love you, man. You should be doing it. I'm like, okay, but I mean, I'll try it next year. But this year, I'm trying to hone in on the ones that there might be a better audience for me.
Right. That's one thing that you got to consider, right? And because we get the same thing. Oh, you got to do San Diego, man. I keep saying next year. But the other thing is that when you do these shows, and sure you can get, even if you do good, right? Are you getting the clientele that you want that will stay with you? Because you don't want to just build a customer base, but you want to build a customer base that continues to support you, or else you're just like working way too hard.
Yeah.
Right. And that's been part of our business model, is to try and retain repeat customers. Right.
Yeah.
It's nice to get these guys that are enthralled with the work that you do, but can you get them to keep coming back?
Right.
And that's something that we work on as well. And we judge a show on that returnability as well. So and some of these small shows have loyal people that don't want to go to these big shows, right? So that's why we do small shows as well. Certain ones we know that has a good fan base. They just like either collecting art or reading, and they continue to come back to satisfy their need for that kick. And so that is definitely something that you want to consider. And then trying to do shows that may not be something that you would consider.
Right.
It might not fall within the same demographics.
Yeah.
Or just be, maybe you're looking to cross market.
Yeah.
So those are always good to do as well. So you look for those kind of shows, and that's one thing I actually watch you, Stephen, is because you do all these other shows that we don't normally do. Yeah. and I watch you, see how you do that, and then I'll follow up with you and ask you, well, how was that show, or how was this show? I mean, I'm trying to get a read on those smaller ones to see, is that something that we would consider, or what kind of customer base do they have there, or what exactly are they supporting there? So yeah, I'm happy. I like picking your brain for that.
I mean, I've been actually considered doing martial arts conventions. I know that in LA, I think in Burbank, there's a martial arts museum. I was kind of considering that. That looks kind of interesting. The only problem is like one day, it's a hell of a drive from Reno, right? But I was thinking like martial arts conventions, not like, I've done MMA and I know that culture, so not quite that, but something more like leaning towards like the traditional arts, where they're like still connected to like, you know, nerd culture, geek culture, art culture, right?
Yeah.
And so I noticed that they tend to like a lot of stuff that I've made, and I'm like, okay, cool. And also, I don't know, I kind of wanted to play with going to more movie centric type of shows too. That would be interesting, because I made it In the Mood for Love, and a lot of people were like, oh, where can I buy that? I was like, oh, you can get it here. I was like, oh, okay, I should make a print of it. Then I go to LA Comic Con, no one bought it. And the one person that physically came to buy the In the Mood for Love print was Hope, Heyte. And I was just like, okay. So, you know what I mean? It's just, you think it's pop culture, so, you know, it's all that fits in that umbrella, but no, not really. Not at all.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are, you know, think that about LA, you know, that because it's such a big pop culture city that you should be able to do good with your merchandise there. But that's just not a truth. I have to agree with you on that. Yeah. It's not what people think it is. Yeah. But it could be for some other people. I was talking to somebody last night, and they were telling me like how they were selling those, I don't know what you call those nails that you just paste on or tape to your fingernails, and they were doing like art on there, and those did really well, and they were dropping numbers that I just couldn't believe. And I go,
right, right,
you know, yeah. So hey, okay, well,
so I noticed with my stuff kind of leans towards like a specific era of like a martial arts film genre, and I grew up. Because, you know, being Taiwanese, you know, like when I was there as a kid, you're exposed to Hong Kong movies. There's no way around it because Hong Kong's film industry was a titan back then. And so that's what I grew up with. So that's what I draw. And it's interesting. Oh, by the way, so speaking of conventions, so I decided to take a detour from comic book conventions, and I did a cat convention in Seattle. And all of a sudden, it was like, boom, a sea of Chinese people, right? From anywhere from like, I think the cutoff was probably like, you know, like 50s, but all the way to like the 30s. They were at my table and they were like, oh, I recognize this film. Do you remember Broadway? And this is all in Mandarin. And I was like, how do you... And you just, you don't prepare for, you can't prepare for this, right? I was just like, all right, I'm just going to have cat art and we'll see what happens. And it was just a flood of Taiwanese and Chinese people. And I was just like, oh, okay, this is home. So I'll do it again, you know?
Did I hear that right? A cat convention?
Yeah. It's
like
called
people that like cats.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're a cat person, it's the perfect, I mean, there are people walking around with like Maine Coons hanging on their shoulders, right? Okay. And then there are
they actually exist.
That explains why you have those cat.
Yeah, exactly.
On your table.
Let me tell you something.
Why do you have
this? Is something that's not broadcast very much. Because Taiwan was colonized by the Japanese for 50 years. Taiwanese people have this very interesting love and affection towards Japanese everything, like aesthetics, culture, whatever. Mm-hmm. So there is this aesthetic, this Japanese, like Taiwanese aesthetic of cats, like cat, like fashion, cat, everything. So I was like, oh, I'm one of those people in those demographics. So I was like, everything I was making was for them. And I was like, oh, this is actually kind of cool. But it's weird. It happens in that area. I'm gonna do another PopCat convention. This time it's gonna be in Austin. Next month. Yeah, next month. Seth and I actually worked on a comic. I'm very excited about sharing the comic when it's all done. It's a cat noir. It's imagine French noir. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Perfect pitch. Actually, my friend Mary came up with this. It's Leon the Professional Cat Daddy. Yeah. I got Fred's attention. So, but it's like I'm gonna actually test it there. I don't know what the Asian population is. Probably nowhere near Seattle, but it's worth checking out and trying out, you know. So
yeah. Seattle has a very big Asian community there.
Yeah, it does.
And I know that being having to work there for I didn't live there, but I did work there when I had a corporate job, and so I got to see that. I like what Stevie B writes here. I knew hearing CatCon would get Mog to instantly stop drawing. I don't know if you notice, if you come to like Mog's table, right? So there's like one section on our table. It's devoted to cats.
Awesome.
So some of it is Ghibli related. Some of it is just storytelling, and you'll see it. Thanks for that bid, Lieutenant.
Do you have to own a cat, you think? Steve, do you own a cat yourself?
I own 2 cats. And you don't. I don't think you need a cat to vend there.
Yeah, but you feel like a fraud if you
Well, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Some people. I mean, I gotta say, the people that were there, there's no way they're not cat owners, because if you're talking to them about cats, I mean, you guys know if you own cats, it's just like you talk to a cat owner, they're basically your kids. So there wasn't like I felt like, oh, you don't know what I'm talking about. They knew, and it was just, it's like, here's my picture, here's a pic, and also, here's a picture of your cat or my cat, and here's a picture of my cat, and you get into that kind of exchange. So I would actually advise people to try it out. It's interesting, like what you find there. There was, I'll tell you this, the convention isn't very big, but it's very interesting because there's people buying selling t-shirts, there's people selling like cat stuff, and then me and a bunch of other artists were like kind of in the back, and there was a lot of different artwork. It wasn't like your run-of-the-mill, the fan art alley. It was really very different. Like, we had one person who drew a whole bunch of Godzilla, but it was like Catzilla. And then we had another artist who did Alphonse Mucha, but in the style of cats. And that was interesting too. And then me with like all my martial arts stuff. And so people were like, oh, that's cool. So it's just, I don't know. I just felt like there was a home, for my art. And I think that's what we're all trying to do, is just find a home for art. The return customers you're talking about.
Yeah, wherever, where you can find it. Right? And that's one reason why we try to do different kinds, is to find out, what else can work, and you definitely found one worth looking into, that beats whatever. I know people tell us, oh, we should do furry cons, and I'm just not quite ready to do those yet.
I actually
make a lot of money.
By the way, Reno, I'm not completely sold, but I will say Reno does have a few conventions that kind of like are very underground right now. It does feel to me Reno is like a little brother version of Portland. So there's like this weird alternative kind of like scene here. And so
I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, so there's a furry con here, and I was talking to a few furries, right? And there was a few going like, oh, you should totally do a furry con. And I was like, really? They're like, oh yeah, all this stuff would like be like really good. And Seth and I were doing it was a book and art fair out here, and there was a guy that came over, bought Joan books, and then like bought like a whole bunch of prints for me. And but he had a thing where he was like, I have a dog in the fight, something like that. And he was a dog. He had like a dog's tail and then the ears. And I was just like, oh, that's so interesting. Reno's just interesting. And that inspired me more to be like, okay, I'm gonna try these little, I don't know what you would call them, like niches. Yeah. And just to see what they're like, because it wouldn't hurt, they're pretty cheap. Some of them are like $75. Some of the most expensive $200. It's not that bad.
The thing I get the biggest kick out of is that there's a fun little thread going through each of them. If you look at Reno Flea Punk or Reno Punk Flea, right? Exactly. Thank you. I appreciate you, Fred, jumping in there. Yeah. So there's that. you look at this RageCon, in which gaming speaks to so much this independent spirit. You look at Cats, this, again, independent spirit. And I feel like that matches up so well with the art that Steve has been creating, as well as the story he's been telling with Joan, as well as the other stories he's telling. There's this independent spark. There's this, I'm going to do it this way. And that seems to also align. And at first you're like, wow, well, these seem like very disparate conventions. But the independence of each one seems to also align with the story of Joan and Steve's art. And that combination has been really impressive. I mean, even as we're talking about, I was like, what have you stumbled onto that you just kind of like inherently did and yet also did so well? And just how did you do that? Because it clearly is working, and it's an example to follow. Where there's places that people encourage independent spirits and independent creations, I think he's going to continue to do well.
Yeah. And Andrew Law states that presentation and quality, great presentation will make customers, and quality will make them return. And he's absolutely right. I totally believe in that. And Mog has seen me work that with the presentation and quality. And there's when you do it right, you will see a big difference in that. So totally agree with you on that. Ryan, you do have a bid on yours for 125
awesome.
by one of our loyal viewers from the Lieutenant.
Congratulations.
So
Nice.
Thank you.
thank the Lieutenant for that. Stevie B, good luck with those two Siamese cats. I don't know. Hopefully you don't have to babysit them too much on there. Okay. So yeah, it's amazing what can happen when you try like other cons or other venues or appearances where you can do really well. I find like having an appearance at a mall is really good.
I've done a few of those.
Really? How was that?
Because you get people that go to the mall already have discretionary money in their pocket. They just want to spend it. The whole reason why you go to a mall is you want to buy something,
Right.
but you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But you will know when you see it.
Mhm.
Okay. So when we're at a mall, we sell some of the things that we may not sell at a con. And the flashier it looks, the better it sells. So we're talking like shiny stuff, metals, stuff like that you may have a lot of, or printed a lot of still, and if you want to move it, you can get pretty much full price there for what you're asking for. We don't get too much opportunity to do those, but if I can do those and it fits within the schedule, I don't turn it down. I will take it. As long as it's a mall that has good foot traffic, right? Or you're in a location in a mall that has good foot traffic, because not all areas in a mall will have that.
That reminds me when I did RageCon the first time last year. Oh, it was I thought it would be a nightmare. So they sold out of tables, but you can. So it's inside a hotel, and then it's in the room kind of situation, and then on the outside, the general hotel like walkway. So you could buy spaces there, but you have to bring your own table, and then at the end of each night, you have to close up shop, put everything inside. It was a hassle. Mm-hmm. And I was close to the bathroom, so I'm like, okay, well, this sucks. This is stupid, but I paid the $100 and was there. As it turns out, it was probably the most advantageous, because not only was I getting the people playing games, buying stuff, but it was also just regular hotel people, people who are on vacation and wanted to buy stuff. So actually, as you're saying the mall, I'm like, oh, that's a really great idea. Yeah.
Or any place that's like even like a vacation place. It's like when we do Hawaii, right? If they can get it, if the con is smart enough and they market the people that are vacationing there, And those guys, dude, they got money to burn. They'll attend the con even though they may not know what it's about. And then they see stuff. Oh, okay. Well, I'll buy this to add to my memory of my vacation. So yeah, when that happens, the con is very, very, very successful if they know how to do that, because there's certain ways on how to do that there in Hawaii if they can figure it out and if they follow through with it. But yeah, anytime you can hit like Vegas. Okay, I was doing shows in Vegas early on in the 90s. Okay, and it was a bust every single show. So I did not want to do a Vegas show when I started doing cons again with Mog, right? Because it was always a loss, right? You think that you're going to get people there to come to a con and they're going to drop money. But the truth was they would rather drop their money at a casino table, poker, or whatever it is that they're playing in there, So we didn't get that much anything from them. Okay, but after 2000, that all changed because the attention, the more comics grew as a pop culture. You had all these movies that came out. So when that happened, and now shows like Amazing Con comes back to Las Vegas, right? Now people are dropping money and tapping into that. People that come there to vacation, they don't mind taking some of that casino money and dropping it on to get something from the con, whether it's art, comic books, or whatever it is. So that can be successful. Anyway, so the thing that I'm trying to say is that if it's a vacation destination and there's a con there, if they market it properly, those shows can be very, very successful, more than the other in average. Yeah, so that's another thing to look at. So we got furry cons, we got cat cons. That's a new one. So, but I'm glad you did say that, because I did want to ask you about those cat art that you had at your table. I saw during Oakland, because I didn't see those before. I go, how'd you get into cats? So that answered that. How about you, Ryan? Have you thought about doing any furry or cat cons?
No, but my friend is trying to get me to do NSFW stuff. She's just like, oh, you'll make so much money. And I'm a little cautious on dipping my toes into that.
Yeah, I turn those down all the time.
Yeah.
And they come back screaming, why not? You're going to make a lot of money. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I did do a free comic book day in a mall once, and that was, like you were saying, it was surprisingly good. Just people were walking by and picking stuff up.
Yeah. Because even if they may not even be like a regular comic collector or art collector, but the fact that now they can pick something up and they can tie it to something that's nostalgic for them. They saw the X-Men movie and, oh yeah, I love Phoenix. So, if you got something Phoenix, I'll get that. It's that kind of mentality and attitude that we've come to now, to where the comic characters are at with the public. Yeah. So yeah, great for us when we can get there. I've tried to encourage more people to try and do content. It's not that hard to do it, but it does take up time. And they do ask for an insurance to be taken up, and those tend to run about like $50,000 just for one day. Right. So if you're talking multiple days, then it's it's going to cost you more. So you have to decide how are you going to cover that. So that is kind of like a stumbling block if you're going to have like a mini con at a mall. Right? There are some comics stores that are at a mall, and if you can find those, and if they're willing to have you in there and promote it, because the store has to promote you, so that way people know that you're going to be there, right? And to put up the proper signs so that way they can direct foot traffic to like where you're going to be. if the mall will even allow that. So those are like some of the few stumbling blocks that you got to go through in order to have a successful mall appearance. But yeah, any other anything with you, Fred, that you see that could work that's outside of the usual cons that we do?
No, I'm still looking for an onion convention where I can go and sell my
There's got to be one.
I'm
There's
sure
gotta be one.
there's got to be some kind of like deep fried enthusiasts
Chain
out there that are
restaurant
going to be like,
Chain
yeah,
restaurant conventions.
There's got to be. Right?
that's actually not a bad idea. If I can get in on one of those and be like selling my thing there, but or some kind of crossover promotion. Stop.
Or maybe like I don't know. Anybody try like a farmer's market?
Out. Oops, hold
No.
on.
Yeah,
It's
right.
falling.
Yeah.
Some of those farmer markets.
A lot
are
of farmers markets, pal.
How are flea markets and things like that? I've never tried those.
I
Those
don't know if the
there are-
Maui eating competition still exists. I know Maui onions are still big, but they're more local. They don't market it as much as they should. I don't think they can produce them on a large scale to export them out that much. But those are definitely sweet eating onions. So you can eat those like an apple. But it would be nice.
Yeah,
See, it took me several visits to the strip club before I realized there weren't any newspaper cartoonists there. Okay, Stevie. But you know what? With some of the comics that are produced, yeah, I don't know. It could work.
You do like an NSFW con at a strip club. I'll bet you those artists would do like some real good money. Again, I don't know who would want to take up the insurance on that day, but not me.
That's the thing is the attendees have to decide comic book or private dance.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Do I want to get a $1 laptop dance or do I want to get a comic book? Which costs more? Or more likely, which one's going to cost you more in the long run?
Yeah.
I don't know. But hey, it would be worth investigating. If one of you guys want to try, let me know.
At least the comic will love you back.
Oh man, that would be interesting. Yeah. Well, the good note is that we are going back to Maui this year, so I'm looking forward to that. And usually Ma goes by herself, but I'm actually thinking of going with her this time instead of staying home and working. So yeah, that is cool. What else have you guys got coming down the pipe? Fred, where are you going to be? You got any cons coming up that you're going to be at?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you. Cons lined up. No, actually, I don't right now. I just got done a June that was pretty full of stuff. So I actually don't have anything lined up now. I'm going to do a re-up for August and September and get everything ready, especially now that I'm going to have book 4 ready to go. I'll hit my usual shops and cons and things and get that out into the hands of the locals, I hope. But no, I've got a few anthology projects and things coming up. I got a short story coming up in a Cthulhu Invades story, which is kind of like a body horror thing. I've got a fun twist on Vlad the Impaler in a short story and another anthology. So I got a few things like that coming down the pipes. And then Fisticuffs book 5. And then an adjacent project, which is kind of like a cool fantasy project that Stan and I are collaborating on. So that'll be our next thing that we hopefully will get off in the beginning of next year, it looks like. Do you do free comic book day? I did this year. It was actually my best day that I had so far selling comics in person. The shop I did that hosted me just had a really, really nice influx. People were really showing up for it, and they were interested in the pitch and stuff, and it did really well that day. So yeah.
What shop was that at?
I was Cloak and Dagger in Ormond Beach, Florida.
Okay,
great,
I know that shop. Yeah.
Great shop, very nice people.
Yeah,
they've always been really good to me. Yeah.
What about you, Steven and Seth? Do you guys do free comic book day? Where do you guys set up at?
Well, yeah, actually, I did Free Comic Book Day again at King Kong Comics in Pleasanton.
Yeah.
And then I was just remembering that Steve and I were just, we totally spaced earlier when you were asking about events coming up. Sure, we've got RageCon over the next couple of days, but then next weekend, we're going to be at Zeppelin Comics on Friday in Vallejo. And then on Saturday,
Benicia.
we'll be Benicia. Thank you. Benicia. And Cape and Cal Comics in Oakland on Saturday.
Okay.
Really
Yeah,
great.
I saw your graphics for the Cape and Cow, which looks really good. Yeah.
And then we got Dreamwall Comics in Carson on Sunday, and then on the 26th we're doing a bookstore in Reno called Radical Cat. It's a cat cafe, and it's very, very like activist, like politically, I guess, radical.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Again,
Radical
things,
cat,
right?
Radical cat people? Is that what I heard?
Radical cat people. That's what they are. No, it's called Radical Cat, but they are radical cat people.
Oh, I swore I thought it was cats again. I was like,
No, they are cats.
oh, they are. What
Yeah.
are they lobbying for?
No, so it's very like, progressive
Yarn.
agenda. So it's like, yeah, it's got
Catnip. They want to legalize catnip.
Yeah.
They're tired of the stranglehold
Yeah.
on catnip.
Yeah.
They feel it's just a way to help ease pain. They want to make sure that everyone has access to it. So they are advocating, and they are out
They're
there.
doing they want to advocate speakeasies for cats.
Catnip speakeasy. Yeah. Catnip kitsch, right?
Yeah.
And
Make
with
a
all
charitable
that.
contribution.
Take the grunge of Seattle, and like a lot of the punk rock movement. Imagine that as a store, but also a cat cafe too.
with catnip.
Yeah, that's Radical Cat. So
Oh wow.
union breaks at the cat cafe. Yeah.
We gotta start looking for our own cat places to go to here, Mog.
Yeah,
Oh,
Donnie. I like
So
that.
there's a guy that I met at Pop Cats. He runs a cat shelter, and he sells like cat merch. He recently fostered a cat and then found a family for the cat, and the cat's name is Zoran Meldani. Yeah, pretty good.
Wow. Okay. All right. And if you guys haven't yet, hit that follow button so that way you can stay tuned to all the happenings here on the EXP and what's going on with the SketchUp. Right? And that way you will stay in the know. We've got a bunch of exciting things coming down from now to the end of the year. All right. And before we get off, let's go through the artwork and see what we have so far. Let's look at Ryan's Absolute Batman.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Very nice.
Okay, that currently has a bid of 125 from the lieutenant there.
Awesome.
That's
So
cool.
we are looking for the next bid. And now for the hot piece tonight, let's look at the Blossom, the Blooming Onion, current bid of
Yes.
5.
That's awesome.
I did my damnedest. I'm not a
Love
professional
it.
artist.
And it's a good blooming onion too.
It
Thank
is.
you, guys.
That's awesome.
That picture will give you indigestion.
Oh my God.
It'll do
That's
it.
the first bit of the night, man. Within the first 15 minutes of the show. Yeah, so be proud of that.
I am. Thank you,
There
guys.
you go.
That's awesome.
All right, and last but not least, let's take a look at Mog Park.
Oh, really nothing. It's just
Again.
there's no change.
But we'll have something right now. She doesn't finish. Definitely, it's not going to get finished today. But when it does get finished, we will show everybody, and maybe we'll put it up for a bid again, so that way you can give everybody a chance to do this. So we are working on 6 covers, sketch covers that was provided by Rook Piece. Thank you for that again. All right, and these are we're going to go all out on these sketch covers and pull them out for full price, and see how you guys like them. Right, so. I think what we'll do is we'll show them as Mog is working on them, and if there's no bids, then when she finishes, we'll show them again, and so that way you will have a chance to bid on them when they are completed, and you get to see what they actually look like then. All right, but can you show like what you have so far?
Really, there's the same as last time.
Yeah. Okay. Well. just so somebody they get a glimpse. Okay, yeah,
Very
it is
big.
big.
Like it's not worth looking.
All right, but what can it look like? This is what we're aiming to have it look like.
You got it.
And there we go.
Yeah. Nice.
Brilliant. It's gorgeous.
All right, so that's what we're aiming for this piece. Similar to that. That was a piece that we're going to hand in for Baltimore. And then she's working on Gwen for this version on the Spider-Man sketch cover.
Hey, Mel and Mog, are you guys going to be at LA Comic-Con?
Yeah, we'll be there.
Fred and Ryan, are you guys going to LA Comic-Con?
No.
Okay.
Ryan, are you guys going to be there?
I'm not.
Okay.
When is it?
It's Halloween weekend.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think either of us are going to be there.
Okay. Yeah, Halloween weekend. That's going to be the last con of the year for us.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of strange because that means November, December, no cons for sure. And then January, we probably have no cons either. So we're going to go 3 months with no cons before we actually do one again.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to like line up all these big commissions that we have and get them to commit, so that way we have some work to do then along with some of the regular work that we do, and doing pretty good so far. So hopefully I can get enough work to last us through that the 3 months. If not, we're gonna have to figure out how to stretch things out. Anyway, anything else that you guys want to share? You guys got going on or anything?
Nothing good.
I think.
The only thing that I could maybe add is if you know Juliet Northam, she's a really fun cover artist. She does some pinups. She does a pizza dye, and she's also worked with the name's escaping me. Yeah, it's gone. Anyways, really sweet. She's a brilliant artist. She's really wonderful, and she came to me after she saw it because one of the other things that I do is I write a kids comic too, for a publication based out of the UK called Hapsy. And in it, I have a character named Greedy Greg who teaches kids that you can ruin every great green idea with greed. So don't be like Greg, don't be greedy. And she liked that idea, but said, what if we turned it into a horror concept? So her and I have been building this project together called Gaia's Revenge. And it's about if the Earth decided to take a very unique approach to taking revenge on humans. And in doing so, it approaches some very fun body horror as well as classic man versus environment horror and similar fun things. If that piques your interest, give a holler. Check out Juliet Northam. And say
where is she located?
Juliet, she's also located in Reno.
Where?
Reno, Nevada?
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh man, yeah, could have had her on. Maybe
it's a teaser for next time. That's their setup. We got to have her on.
Look at the thing with our show is that we book. I used to try to book it in advance, like 6 months. I don't have to work at it that hard anymore. There's people that come to us and ask to be on. Fred asked to be on. Steven, you asked to be on. In fact, all of you guys asked to be on. Okay, and so it's making my job easier. But yeah, it would be nice. I definitely want to bring her on. If you can put her in touch with me, I would love to have her and schedule her on. It won't be real soon, but it will be. In the next few months, I could probably squeeze her in somewhere with the schedule that we have. Yeah, but yeah, I'm always looking for new creatives, artists to bring on. So if you guys have any that you want to refer to me, yeah, definitely. I'll check them out and see if it's going to be worthwhile. She definitely sounds like she would be worthwhile. I got a couple projects that she can talk about and get to know her. Yeah. And I see our good pal Pocket Watches, who was supposed to be on here today with Ryan, which is Trevor, just says he just got out of work. Good timing, because we're about to end the show here. So we got about 5 minutes left. I'd like to go around the room, and if you guys can let everybody know how they can contact you, or or if you got like a website that you want to share, let them know what that is. Let's start with you, Fred.
Sure. You can find me on all the main socials at Schwartzart LLC, and of course on www.schwartzart-llc.com. And please, if you guys get a chance, still on Kickstarter, Fisticuffs Book 4. Thank you.
Right. Don't forget to check out his Kickstarter and give him some love and support. Steven, Seth?
Yeah. My Instagram is SYU Artist. Or you can go to my website is Sid Studio Presents, SYDstudiopresents.com.
Instagram, Seth the Writer. Website, Stories with Seth. And I've got a Patreon where I'm doing a fun serialized story called False Flags. Story in the Studio. Come find me. Say hi.
Okay, and Ryan.
And I'm most active on Instagram, and that's at Ryan Best Art.
Okay, very easy.
Yeah.
For Mog, it's very easy. Just type in Mog Park, and everything will pop up. And she's I'm trying to make it easy that way. And let's see, Pocket Watches writes, I'll finish my Mel portrait for you tonight. So he was supposed to come on today, and he was going to draw it. Okay, now take it. Understand, this guy's not an artist, but he was going to draw me asleep. We'll see how that comes out, and maybe one day we'll get to see how that is. Several people have drawn me. They've done their portrait of me, and some of them are actually pretty good. And I've got a collection of those. I usually ask for those when people do that. So, yeah. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for joining us. We had a great show. Definitely have you guys back on, and if you do want to come back on, just all you got to do is just hit me up, and we'll get you in. We'll work something out. All right. So you guys have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you down the road at the cons. Good night, everybody. Take care.
See you guys.
Thank you.